Hey guys, how are y'all? So, a week, 2 weeks ago now-ish, somewhere in there, Allison and I, my beautiful wife, if you don't know her, you should get to know her, took 10 kids, 10 wonderful kids really. Couldn't ask for a better group to camp. We went to SummerSalt, which if you don't know what it is, it's put on by the Baptist Convention. It is up at White Oak Conference Center up in Winsboro, so it's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour trip from here. We all loaded in the van, somehow miraculously packed 12 people's luggage plus 12 students and myself and Allison, and 12 things of linens. So this is the first year that White Oak didn't provide linens for the churches. So packing everything into the van was a little bit of a game of Tetris. So much so that when we took off, I realized that I couldn't see out the back window. And I looked at the students in the back row, the girls, and I said, okay, whenever I have to get over anything, it's your responsibility to let me know if it's clear or not. And it's, Cindy, I don't know if this thing's working or not. Oh well, it's not working, but oh well. Not yet, go back. Sorry. So the first picture, I don't know, it's funny. We couldn't really get a good group picture the first day we got there. So this is probably the best thing I could do. Me going as my first time, I was very confused to what was going on, so I was always looking to my wife for support and the other students. And some of them are just wild and crazy. If you know who they are, you know that this week may not have also been an easy week, but it was a very rewarding week. If you'll go on to the next one. And what we're showing is just a few pictures, a collaboration of what I took and what the students took, and just some great stuff. So the first two pictures that you see, the one in the top right, that is us eating. So they did feed us very well. I wanted to let you know that none of your kids starved. I didn't starve. I don't think anybody at the camp starved. But then the bottom picture you also see is us waiting in line. So for lunch and dinner and breakfast, it was 2 lines going in. And so imagine feeding 600 students basically at one time. So we waited in lines, but that's okay because we got to enjoy each other's company and talk. And so Justin, if you go back really quickly, Justin decided that it was okay to look majestically out the door, if you can see him. He didn't really want to take the picture, but I kind of made him take the picture. Now you can go on to the next one. So part of summer camp isn't just food and activities. The students got to do some great team building. The high schoolers all did the high ropes course. And I'll let them talk more about the individual things of camp. Unfortunately, chaperones could not go on it, so I was unable to go on it as much as I wanted to. But this is just a couple of pictures from the high ropes course and other team building activities that they did throughout the week, and other games. In the bottom right hand corner, I don't really know what game they're playing or what activity they're doing, but I hope one of the students would, what was it? Crossing the river, and one of them will explain it later, I promise, because I want to know what it is. But so they had fun. There was a lot of time. If you go on to the next one, Miss Cindy. So this one's cool. As we get more into camp and what I really enjoyed and what I enjoyed doing at camp, this would be what you're seeing here is pre-celebration. So before worship and our different times together, and it's really powerful watching 600 kids mob rush into basically 4 doors into a room a little bit larger than this, trying to claim seats. So just let me tell you, there's kids running and this adults are just kind of like, all right, well, guess we'll find our students somehow in there. But luckily we had a small group, so we were able to all sit together during the evening celebrations. just so that way we could corporately worship as a church body, and then, of course, as a group, too. So yeah, Miss Cindy, if you'll go to the next one. So this is probably the highlight of the trip for me. If you have never, ever, ever seen 600 kids worship, let alone 10 of your own kids personally worship God the Creator for everything that He's done, I empower you to do it. It's a moving moment. Even for me as a youth pastor, it was really incredible. And Allison luckily snapped some pictures. You probably can't really make them out very well. But it's really incredible to watch. I watched some of these kids grow in a week. Some of these kids come out of their shell in a week. And talk to us just about things that wouldn't have been talked about if we didn't go to summer camp. So I am grateful for it, and I really enjoyed watching these kids worship. And it made me just want to worship even harder and even more. And it was just an incredible moment. If you ever get the opportunity to watch youth or young people worship, do it. Go for it. It's an incredible thing to see. And then in the top left-hand corner, so one thing that happened this week at camp, or the week that we went to camp, was YMAC. And that stands for Youth Music Arts Camp. I always mess it up, so I always call it some different name every time. But we had one of our own, Bishop, who did YMAC. And that is, in the picture, is the choir. She is on the front row. You probably can't see her, but she enjoyed a lot of camp. She told me that she got a lot out of it, just as a musician. And she said that she was really nervous going into this moment, but when we saw her, I was like, well, that's just normal Bishop up there. She's not nervous at all. But afterwards, she told us that she was very, very nervous to go up in front of 600 students and lead worship. But they did an amazing job leading worship for that week, or for that they led worship on the last day of camp. So they practiced all week their songs and different things, and actually the choir. So she was a part of the choir. They actually learned the hand motions to some of the songs, and so that's also a powerful moment too, is being able to worship in two different languages almost. Because at the same time, you're both worshiping the same God, but you're in their own native tongue, basically. And they learned the sign language for these songs, and I was moved by that. Worship was just a great experience for all of us. I think we grew from it. Miss Cindy, if you'll go to the next one. So this picture here is, I just kind of thought that while at camp, it's not just about us. But it is a little bit about us growing as a group. But some of these pictures here are of them just making friends with other people their age, even their leaders, their Bible study leaders at camp. So they made personal relationships with other students, and they also grew in their relationships with each other. And so that's incredible. And I can't wait for them to tell you more about it. I'm just kind of doing a brief overview. Miss Cindy, if you'll go to the next one. Okay, so while we were at camp, they got the luxury of having some free time. And so if you've ever been out to White Oak or not, they have this big old lake. And the students can swim, they can kayak or canoe. There's this big inflatable thing, which I'm sure some of them will talk about, that you'll see on the next slide, but not yet. And then also in the bottom corner, I'm not sure what they're making, but every day they had a picture of the day. And I'm sure one of the students will be able to tell you what it is when they come up here. But in their groups, they were given time. They were given like challenges. And they were divided up into 4 teams. Each team kind of competed against each other throughout the week to get points. And the winning team had a golden ducky. And that was cool. So the kids got to, if they were on that winning team, got to go up and sign the golden ducky at the end of the week. But they did a picture of the day. Each day was a different theme or an idea. And so that was just one of their pictures of the day. I thought it was cool. And they'll be able to tell you more about it. All right, Miss Cindy. Oh, so there's that big green, yellow blob thing. They told me that they would climb up on it and jump off of it, and I was able to witness it. But at first I thought it was a little dangerous because I felt like students could end up hurting each other. But that's just me. And the bottom right-hand photo is a picture of Fleet Murphy. So this week at camp, I got to experience, and I think with everyone else, a different side of this young man. A side of this young man that I have never seen, but I am loving. On our way back from the lake one day, he decided instead of carrying his towel like a normal person, he was going to wrap it around his neck like a little scarf. And so I thought I would just capture that moment of just pure funniness and share it with you guys, because who doesn't enjoy a good laugh sometimes? But this is just them out at the lake having fun, canoeing and kayaking. I only got down there one day with them just because I was doing other things sometimes during their free time. So, Miss Cindy, if we'll go to the next one. Oh, and this is my favorite. If you'll just play the video, Miss Cindy. So this is what happens after a week at camp with some sleep deprivation. Okay, so you couldn't really make it out like I thought we would be able to. But Fleet was kind of just, he put the t-shirt on his head and the hat over it, and he was just kind of like bebopping around while we were just driving down the road. And I actually look back in the rearview mirror, and all I see is just this shirt and hat over someone's head. And I'm like, what are they doing back there? But the kids, this is on our way home, so they're all tired. We're sitting in traffic, coming back. It took us about almost 3.5 hours to come back due to just the traffic that we experienced coming back through Columbia. So this is what they decided to do, is they just decided to have fun and cut up, which is great because they're teenagers and they need that fun and they need their time just to be teenagers. And then if you'll go to the last slide. Whenever it gets up here. Alrighty, well the last slide, I'll just go ahead and tell you, was just a picture of the group. And it said 10 amazing students, 2 chaperones, or 10 students, 2 chaperones, and 1 amazing week. I enjoyed, there it is. So this is the last day of camp. As we were about to get on the bus, it doesn't come across. I should have edited it before I sent it to Cindy. But anyway, it does say 10 students, 2 chaperones, and 1 amazing week. And I believe and I'm speaking on behalf of everybody that went, we did have a great week. And I appreciate those of you who sent letters, who just prayed for us, and allowed God to move through White Oak. Sorry, I have a little something in my throat. Through White Oak and just through the staff that was there, we were able to really break down some walls and to grow as a group for those of us who went. And next year I want to take more. I know that's crazy, but I want to take all my students because it was a great time to grow and learn and love together. And so at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to the students and let them tell you about their experience at camp. Because I had a completely different experience because I was an adult and I wasn't in their different groups and their daily activities. They would go to different things each day, and everyone will tell you about it. And so I'm going to just turn it over to the students. So whoever wants to jump up here first.